Welcome back to our Bible Journey series. In this video, we're diving into a dramatic and spiritual segment of Israel's story, from Sinai to Kadesh, as recorded in Numbers 1 through 12, and powerfully illuminated by Ellen G. White in her book Patriarchs and Prophets, pages 374 to 386. This is more than just ancient history. It's about how God's people prepared for a promise, how they failed in fear and complaint, and how God's grace remained even amid judgment. The book of Numbers opens at Mount Sinai. The people have received God's law. Now it's time to organize for the journey. God commands a census. This is where the book gets its name, but it's not just counting people. It's preparing for war, for movement, for mission. Each tribe is assigned a place around the tabernacle. The Levites are set apart for sacred duties, and the presence of God is central, symbolized by the cloud above the sanctuary. Ellen White notes how this arrangement showed God's care, order, and presence. It was a heavenly design for an earthly people. But even with this perfect organization, what happens next reveals something deeper about the human heart. Soon after leaving Sinai, the people begin to complain, first generally, then specifically about food. They say, "We remember the fish we ate in Egypt, but now our soul is dried away. There is nothing at all beside this manna." Numbers 11, 5-6, manna, a daily miracle, is despised. The past is romanticized. Egypt, the land of slavery, is remembered fondly. Why? Ellen White explains that their complaining was not about food, but about rebellion against divine leadership, a lack of trust in God's provision. The Lord responds with fire at the outskirts of the camp and then, in mercy, sends quail. But even that becomes judgment when they greedily devour it, and a plague strikes. Kibroth-Hattaavah, graves of craving, is the name of the place. The pressure is heavy. Moses feels the weight of leadership. God tells him to appoint 70 elders and the Spirit rests upon them. But then, jealousy and pride enter the picture from within Moses' own family. Numbers 12, Miriam and Aaron speak against Moses. Why? Because of his Cushite wife? Or something deeper? They challenge his authority. Has the Lord spoken only through Moses? Ellen White writes that Miriam in particular was motivated by envy and pride. Her judgment was not just against Moses but against God's appointment. God responds immediately. Miriam is struck with leprosy. Moses intercedes, showing his meekness, the same trait that defined his leadership. God heals Miriam after 7 days, restoring, but not without rebuke. Even leaders fall, but God's mercy is evident. So what can we learn from this journey, from Sinai to Kadesh? God desires order and holiness in our lives. Even miraculous provision cannot satisfy a heart bent on self and memory of the past. True leadership is marked by humility and dependence on God. Even when we sin, God disciplines with mercy. Ellen White reminds us that the journey of the Israelites is a mirror for the church today. Our own path to the heavenly Canaan is also marked by trials, tests, and divine training. Closing thought. Where are you on the journey? Are you camped at Sinai, ready to move? Or are you grumbling in the wilderness? Let's press on, with faith, humility, and eyes fixed on God's presence in the center of our lives. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Numbers 1:12 and Patriarchs and Prophets. If this encouraged you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Drop a comment. What stood out most to you from the wilderness journey? Until next time, stay faithful, stay grounded, and keep moving toward the promised land.